Hello, 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 hello. Daniel Cox here with another Convo over coffee, this special edition. Today we have a very special guest for me. I'm excited to be able to have the conversation with Nik Koyama here today. Just so you know, the show, we are all about helping small businesses thrive through, we talk about media, we talk about mindset, and finding ways to best connect with your audience and really just find and connect your audience. And, with the pandemic and shutdown of the economy, really business, there's such an uncertainty over business in the marketplace, but one thing remains, businesses are still going to have to find ways to connect with the people that need them and to pivot how they do that. So our guest today, he understands businesses in a fundamental way and how it works. And he has worked with Mega Marketer, Penn June. He's worked with Gary Vee and others. I mean, his credentials are off the chart. And as we talk, you're going to understand why I'm excited today to have on us our video Sensei Nik Koyama. Nik, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that.
Hey, I just call it as I see it. You know, when you have the credentials, they're there. And when I asked you to be on the show, one of the things that was really just driving it for me is this whole COVID-19 pandemic. It's obviously had an effect on the marketplace. I mean, things are shifting. Businesses, really, they're impacted, and so I guess my first question to you today is how really have things fundamentally changed in the marketplace in how we do business? What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, now is definitely a time for the wartime generals to come out, right? So, like for business owners that are I guess looking for like, what should I do? The answer isn't just like switch to video or go on Zoom or do photos or anything. Like they have to be someone that gives hope right now. They have to be somebody that can lead and can provide solutions, because you may be, let's say, like a chiropractor, and you may be able to adjust people right now or give them advice or whatever.
Right.
But if you're not going to get someone out of like having a solution, as always in business, is never enough. Like you have to speak to who you're trying to serve and incite them to action. Now imagine how much more of a challenge that is today. That's why we're seeing most business owners, for good reason, and I don't mean to pick on business owners, but we see a lot of business owners curling up, fetal position, just waiting, turning on the news, waiting to see when everything goes back to normal. And then we see, 10 to 15% of business owners saying, screw that, nothing's going to get in my way, I'm going to go serve people. So above like me or you, Daniel, saying use video, there's this extra layer of hard-skinned leadership that is needed. And you could try to talk about that, you can try to teach that, but in all honesty, the natural leaders are coming out to play right now. And it's been crazy to watch.
So it really, I mean, if I'm hearing you correctly, the marketplace really hasn't changed in some ways. I mean, leaders will be leaders. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, well, it's like the wax on, wax off thing, right? It's like it's basic that everybody who you're trying to sell to is having some sort of fear that you have to reverse in order for them to adopt what you're selling. But now the fear is much higher. So it's like, waxing on, waxing off, or picking up a coat. It's a very simple thing until it becomes something that's needed in a very serious situation. So, I mean, like, it's kind of normal, but the stakes and the pressure and the challenge is much higher. But the things that we've trained on as business owners and leaders, that it's the same answer. It just has to be expanded. It needs to be amplified. That's how I see it.
So would you say that that's really then the single greatest challenge? I mean, if you had to say what is the single greatest challenge in light of all of this that businesses face right now then?
Well, they got to get them. I think the biggest thing is in order to be a leader and to project a message that's going to get people to take action right now. Not only do you need that combination of messaging and delivery system and all that, but you need to be okay. So I think the biggest challenge that people have is they got to realize that the level of growth right now is way past self-growth. Like they got to be okay with themselves. They got to ascend fear themselves because they got to contribute to others. So I think, just the biggest challenge for just everybody universally is you got to get yourself right, your own mind right now, because you got to be there for others. And, I think it's all mindset, because people are attached to people that can give them hope, that have a different narrative. Right now, the narrative is, stay at home, let the government take care of you, just wait it out, 15 more days, oh no, 30 more days. And it's just like these narratives of like, don't go out, it's highly infectious, the R naught 6.0, like infection rate, like mortality. And it's like, and to be someone that's going to go against that message, not against it, not disagreeing, but to have a different vibration and say, no, we can do this. Like these are some things we can do to move our life forward. It takes quite the mental capacity and quite the nonconformity. So, I think that's tough for a lot of people. But business owners know better than anyone that going against the grain is usually the right way to go.
Right. Well, I swim upstream when everybody's swimming downstream, kind of thing. Yep. So if you, because in terms of connecting with their audiences, then right now, how does a business deal then with the challenge of overcoming that extra layer of fear that is existing, that it just exists right now in the current situation? How does a business overcome that and still find ways to connect with their audience?
Yeah, well, this is psychology 101. So if you ever want to help somebody out of a situation, you have to first be able to acutely identify the situation that they're in. So let me give you a sales tip first, because you are trying to sell people out of something. But one right. Sales tip, sales psychology tells us that if you can kind of, what's the word? If you can explain or describe, sorry, I don't know why it was hard to come up with the word describe. If you could describe somebody's problem better than they ever had before, then they already perceive you as someone who has the answer. So I'm going to repeat that. If you could describe somebody's problem better than they have themselves, then they already see you as having the answer. So if you're going to try, step one is like, if you're going to try to give people hope, you got to really prove that you understand where they're at and what mindset they're in. You can't just ignore it. You got to say something like, look, I know you guys are out there. You care for your family. Your bank, your accounts aren't growing. You're scared. You're starting to think about your future more, and I get that, right? So first is describing where people are at, and then second is validating it. You have to validate that it's okay. I get that you are doing what you're doing right now, but listen to me, and you deliver your message, right? Deliver your message of hope. So I really think that a lot of people skip that, and they just they say, no, the pandemic is dumb. Like, you need to be doing here. And people are kind of hopscotched over their own feelings. There's no empathy in the equation. So step one is, and two and three is, I think, describing where they're at, validating it, and then giving your message of hope.
So, but then that approach to sales, as it were, is really, it goes beyond than just our current circumstance, right?
Sure.
Okay. So if we're going to then look at the fact that if I'm listening to you, then really at its fundamental core, the marketplace is just going to be the marketplace, whether it's pre or post pandemic, however things are going to play out in terms of how people transact business. Finding the audience, finding the people who need you it's still fundamentally unchanged.
Yeah.
so then, we talk about video a lot here, and like one of the things that I hear is, especially right now, finding ways to connect with people in a way that is um, both effective, but also can extend this empathy. How does video play into this equation, and how could a business begin to leverage video in in connecting with people even during this time?
Yeah. So as far as like every time I talk about video, it's very important that we put it against the right backdrop. So it's, and no pun intended, but it's like we video to me is a lot like reality. So if we take a second to think about reality, then we'll understand why video works. We'll understand what video strategies were needed, all that good stuff. So video, when you think of it like reality, let's say you are let's say you're a genuine leader, right? And you genuinely care. Well,
Hmm.
let's look at other forms of media. Let's look at photos. Let's look at text. How well, if you really care about someone and your heart's sinking. My girlfriend was crying last night because we were watching this movie where people were killing people. And she was just like crying because of how much she cared. Now, let me ask you, like, how much passion did my girlfriend show last night? Would she be able to transmit through text? How much of it would she be able to do through a photo?
Mm.
Not much, unless she had amazing wordsmithing and someone who was reading it had amazing imagination. You might get 50% of the emotion.
Hmm.
Now, when you look at video, when I say it resembles reality, video doesn't require you to be creative. And this is like the biggest misconceptions. A lot of people see video and they think transitions, titles, they look at movies and they're like, oh, you got to be so creative, who's the most creative person I know? No, you got to be strategic with video, not so much creative. So if you were to video yourself passionate, right, and in the moment and whatever it is, that resembles reality. That's like me standing right in front of you, as long as you don't alter it too much. That's why I like, and we use this analogy, but when you like, let's say you break the law and it's caught on video in the court system, you're done. You're guilty because you were just caught, because video is reality, right? Especially in the digital world. So first thing like that people need to understand is that if you have a message to transmit, if you have a product that could really help people right now, regardless, like, um, whether if it's relevant or irrelevant to the pandemic, if you have a message of hope, if you're trying to talk to people, it just doesn't make sense. You got to, like, I could pitch video, or I could just do the process of elimination. I could just be like, what? How could anything else make sense, right? And then as far as strategy goes, I mean, we can talk pandemic specific or we could talk long term. But I think, again, right now, a message of hope is universal. Like, we all need to tell people to not give up, that we're all here for each other, that we're here for you. Our lines are open. We're here to serve. Like, something like that, you cannot go
Hmm.
wrong.
Okay, and because the because you've answered a number of questions that I was thinking about, because part of video then is it's not so much about video for the sake of video then, but
What's that
rather,
mean?
well, I
Video.
mean, video for the sake, like I hear, I when I talk to business owners, one of the things I hear from them a lot is, well, I'm told I have to do video. Video is an important thing. How do we incorporate video, and
Yeah.
how do I use video?
Yeah, it's
And
like college kids that want a BMW and a hot girl, not because for any other reason, but that's what, like, the cool kids do. It's like
right.
business owners are so much in that realm, but the hard part is when you actually need the video. So like the popular people are getting video, and it's like you actually do need the video, but you need these other things, and you can't just get video for the sake of video. You're totally right.
So what is it then? If we had to frame it this way, what do you see the biggest mistake businesses are making then when they're trying to incorporate video in their business and in their process?
Um, just to be blunt, like, they're just trying to be cute and sexy and innovative, but they're not. They took off their business owner hat, You got to look at video as a business owner. You got to look at where's the return? How does this function within a system? How does this act as an asset over time and doesn't deteriorate really quickly like most? Dang, what is up with my lighting?
I don't know. It's a little bright.
Yeah, I'm just going to turn it down. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay. Okay, my bad. You're just going to have to... all right, sorry, going back. Yeah, so we really got to draw as business owners like hard. Jeez, this is so annoying. I'm just going to turn it on.
Yeah, while he's doing that, guys, if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments, and we will answer questions as we can get to them. I see your question right now, Mark, about the recommendation, so we'll get that asked. But again, with Nik Koyama, and right now he's responding, he's answering what is the biggest mistake business owners make when they're trying to incorporate video into their business.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
They're not looking at it as a real asset. They're looking at it as, again, like you said, video for the sake of video. So like, let's take something as simple as something me and you both know, a video business card, right? Mm-hmm. Video business card, 2-minute video, explains everything about your business, what makes you different, connects on an emotional level, and invites a certain group of people to come join. This is what's already running your business. But like, these types of pieces of information are things you're already saying that are already working. They have to be if you're in business. So if you take that 2-minute video, you can use that video to replace all those times you're communicating before any time you get in a sales meeting. They could be defensively integrated, meaning they could be on your website. Anytime someone looks into you, it could be a referral thing. You can make sure anybody who talks about you, make sure you use this video, right? And it doesn't just talk about it. It shows people what you're doing. It connects on an emotional level, right? So a video like that is a long-term asset that will work in everywhere at all times at once. The only thing that limits it is the amount of people that are looking for you. But that's like the greatest thing for a business owner to hear, because then you can just run ads, or you could put out other things that get more people looking into you. But everybody who does look into you will go through this amazing experience, no human energy required after the point of making it. So like, when you have something like that, now you're thinking of it as a business owner. You're looking at the psychology of what works. You're matching it with an asset, and you're implementing it correctly. So like, most business owners look at video as a deteriorating thing. They look at like a new event or just social media, and they just want to put something out to for today and tomorrow. Well, people like me and you, Daniel, we're thinking about the business. Just like a business needs a sign outside, they don't need it out just for today, but people are going to drive by for the rest of time. So it's a good idea to have a sign up there. Like, that's the type of thinking we need to apply to video.
So part of it then is, and if you can break open this a little more, because it's video really then is simply the medium, right? It's like, it's really about the business and the messaging and the core of who and what a business is about that people want to connect with. The video is just the conduit that makes that available. I mean, if we could use, ribbons and bananas to accomplish the same thing, we would do that, right? I mean, yeah. Is that?
Yeah, but you have to love and respect what video allows you to do. The physics of video is absolutely unreal. I was just working, and you were there with me, Daniel, but I was just working with one of my students who was building a new brand, and we're calling it Checkmate, right? And we're using video as this analogy. And the analogy is like, and you weren't here for this, Daniel, but this is amazing for your audience, and I get to test drive it here. But if you think of business as a chessboard, and not just all of business, but if you look at the king on the other side, which in chess, that's what you're trying to knock over to win. If you look at that as your business targets, so like sales, right? You have sales targets, you have marketing targets, you have efficiency, all these things. There's dozens of different targets. Well, like usually in chess, you have to like make all these moves and all these things to like try to get that target hit. But
Mm-hmm.
if you think of video, kind of like video is like a new kind of piece that can occupy all squares at once and hit targets extremely easy. But it's true because videos, everybody knows this. When you make a video, it lasts forever and it could show up in all these places. It could be on your website, it could be on social media. They could be sharing it amongst their friends and it takes no extra energy. It could be in all places at once. It is 100% omnipresent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it is about the message and the strategy and things like that. But you have to honor the physics of what we have here. We have an amazing, amazing tool. And but that it's just not enough. Like I was saying, some people can make a video that just doesn't last, that's not meant to be spread, that's not meant to sit on multiple platforms, and that's an
Mm-hmm.
issue. But video is so special, and there's just nothing else like it.
So that's part of being strategic then with video.
Yes.
So in terms of I mean, if you had 30 minutes to sit down with a business owner and painting with we're going to paint with a broad brush here because I know that there's a lot of things that are very very business specific, but what kind of strategies then could we begin to break open for a business owner, both in this time and just in terms of connecting with their audiences? What are some of the specific strategies we can begin to suggest?
Okay, let me talk from psychology down. So the most amazing thing, this is like the biggest breakthrough that I think a lot of people have in terms of video strategy is a lot of people, they look at, okay, what problems am I experiencing in business and what do I got to do to solve them? That's like the business owner mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Well, video, like I was saying, and it's so crazy. Look at, I switched my camera. I had no idea it was on the wrong camera the whole time. Now look at
Okay.
So what video, like I was just talking about video and the physics of video, what makes it special is you're able to take a moment or experience and bring it into the physics of unlimited space, unlimited time, right? So
Mhm.
try to stay with me here. So video then doesn't just act as a problem solving tool, it actually breaks solutions past the barrier of time and space. So what I mean by that is the best place to start with video isn't to look for problems, but is to look for what's already working, but is limited by the time barrier. I'll give you an example.
Mm.
Say you have a salesman that is crushing, and you're like, let's not touch this salesman. He's doing everything. What does he need? Let's give him a bonus. Da 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 da. Right? That salesman is the key to a good video strategy because it's already working, and you can unbind him from the limitations of his own physical body. Right? Different systems, different messages, different things people love. Maybe people love your coffee shop. I used to own a coffee shop. Maybe they love a certain coffee, and like 30% of people come in for one coffee, even though you have 20 other options. That coffee is the solution. It's doing good things. Now take that coffee and make a video because we already know it works. It just needs to be expanded. So the best strategies come from a place of understanding the physics of video and then looking to your business of what do people love about me? Do they love my smile? Do they love my personality? Do they love how it feels when they walk in? Do they love how our staff takes care of them? What is the super secret, awesome, great things about our business that we can unbind with this platform?
Wow. Just wow. I had a great conversation yesterday with a chiropractor here in my city, Dr. Bergeron, and as I was spending time with her, it became clear to me that this is a person who has this deep empathy and passion for the people that she serves, and I don't use the term serve lightly because it's like I could actually see that she was almost jumping out of her skin, being limited right now in her ability to connect with with her clients, with her people. So if you how can you give me an example then how we might be able to equip a Dr. Berger to really break out of this limitation that she has, and maybe an idea or two that she might be able to implement today or tomorrow to begin doing something.
Well, you have to add in the variable of courage. Like, how much of her not growing right now is just because it's been a little scary. And I always, it's always hard to say that, but for me, it's, and I love chiropractic, so I'll almost answer my own question here. For me, it's like I would ask a person like this, should people even be coming in right now? I feel, I'd play skeptic, the skeptic card. I'd be like, for me, it seems like people don't need to come into the chiropractor. Is there a reason why they should? And then she's going to give you an answer, right? And she's going to be like, no. She's going to say, no, people's immune systems are down because they're not being exposed to viruses and bacteria. And the nervous system needs to be fired because there's subluxations. And we need to be going back going. And I'm like, boom, caught you. I caught you. We need to make that content because people think in terms of me, what I just said. And we need to override them with that, not just the information, but the passion that you just gave. So like, how do I know? So her biggest problem is probably people aren't coming in. So my job as a director and as a strategist is to represent those people and find a way for her to knock me down, right? And I'm just going to put a camera right in between the battlefield. So it's like the best strategy is figuring out what are the false beliefs that are holding people back from coming in, and how do I represent those false beliefs as a director, and how does she knock me down with a camera in between us? And then it becomes distribution. But the point there being, like, the most important thing is the psychology of the situation. You got to get people to overcome their fears and come in the chiropractor, and they need the expert opinion of why. So again, this all augments the whole idea of what we're talking about earlier. She's got to give hope. She's got to recognize where people are, and she's got to be a leader right now. She can't just be worried. She's got to decide, like, I'm here to serve and I'm going to serve. And then once she comes from that place, that would be the strategy I would bring in.
So my mind is just like spinning right now. I'm sure our minds are spinning because there's just so many. There's just like so many places that I can hook into right now of the things you're saying, and part of this, and if I can just kind of like I'm going to kick the can down a road just a little bit, because
please do.
This really kind of plays into a lot of things that I hear, and it's really rooted around, okay, so if I begin to strategize using video, what do I do with it? And I don't know if that's a distribution issue or what is really the question they're asking there, and how do we overcome that and move people into being able to use video effectively?
Yeah, well, distribution's always dictated by the target. So like, what are you trying to accomplish with the video? In a world of, let's say, sales, like you want to know why the video business card has become such a hit isn't because it goes viral or it's a good ad. In fact, most people who have video business cards never post the video business card. The reason why video business cards are so powerful is because people are coming to the business and applying, like, let's say we'll call it like a real estate agent. I'm very, very fascinated, familiar, and I love real estate agents. Real estate agents, one of their issues is that they rather get too many leads, right? This is very common. They got a lot of people who show a little interest, right? And now they're meeting with all these people, or they have people who come who just bounce off, who would have been great clients, right? So the VBC there in that scenario, if implemented, would repel everybody away who wasn't that level of a homeowner looking for this type of house in this area, and it would attract. So like, it depends on the strategy. Now, going back to the chiropractor example, if you had a message of hope and you dropped it, and this is what we call offense, you're trying to get it to go out in social media, there's many things you can do, right? For one, you have to respect the fact that the message itself is a viral message right now. So when you understand the architecture of what's going on right now, people are dying to spread these messages. So hopefully you have 10 friends on your friends list, because 20% of them are probably going to share, and so on and so forth.
Right.
On top of that, you can activate your team. So you can mandate that your team share this message as a representative of the company. You know, you can pre-frame it a day before. Hey, I'm going to drop an amazing message. Comment below if you'd like to be tagged in it. And if you want to go so as crazy as run $30 in ads, you'll probably reach an extra 3,000 people. You know, and what's really cool about ads, by the way, and I trust me, I'm not like crazy about promoting ads always, because there's usually a simpler solution. But the awesome thing about ads is when you run these videos and you spend $30 and you get them out there, that data stays accessible. So you can keep in touch with the people who watch the video. You could run another ad and make sure only people who saw this video see this video. And it's like, it gets really cool once you go down that road. But I would say for every business right now, I would mandate a message of hope, and I'd put it out there. I'd be genuine, and I would just see what happens. And I guarantee you, the moment you get the first comment that says, "Oh my God, I needed this. This helped me get through the day," you're going to realize what real ROI looks like.
Wow. And that, wow. Okay, I'm just taking this in. Yes, you know, it's real easy to get caught up in the stream of what's happening in the marketplace. Whether right now it's the COVID and whatever, but it's if I can kind of like put a wrapper around this and help me here if as we go, the thing that I'm just you have said and I'm hearing is really connecting with and understanding the what is in place and understanding the psychology of where people are at becomes the first step in being able to reach and connect with people, and whether it's the state of their problem or the state of their problem in light of the bigger picture of life, we still have to be able to address each of those things that lies between us before our message can reach them.
Sure.
Is that a good summary?
Absolutely. Like video, I was just talking about this yesterday, but like most people use technology to assist them. So like call schedulers, POS systems, but video is where technology and people combine, right? This isn't like just an assistant. It's we are in a singularity together. So the technology wouldn't work unless we put our human attributes into it, unless we spoke from a place of genuineness, right? And we were passionate. The technology doesn't activate until that moment. And so it's like this is about combining with technology for this moment to create an asset that represents who we are as people. It's not like we become technology. It has nothing to do with that, right? Like I said, video is reality. It's the front door to the digital world. So it's like we need to, if here's the thing, like I worked with this company in Chicago, and it was called the Liberation Code. And their company basically, the name stand for, if we have an ability as business owners to help people, then we have a responsibility to do so. So us as business owners need to make a decision about video, and we need to move it from this place of like we're creating a buffet and do we like the taste of it, to a place of do we have a responsibility to do this based off the physics of it, right? Based off the fact that everybody's online, that video is the most genuine way to do it. Everybody's thinking about themselves a lot. They're like, do I like video? Do I look good on video? Do I like the taste of it? Do I? We need to move from that place of like, and I think it used to be a choice. Like you could choose to do this. It's like, but there's all these other options. But now we're moving into a place of you have a responsibility to help people. And I'd like you to make an argument of how you're going to do that at the highest level without this platform. This is no longer just a choice. This is where reality is. right? This is where people are. Labor, time, and space are being crunched down. We need technology. We can't just force this anymore. And the awesome part of all this is the opportunity is awesome, right?
Yes.
And this is where I really want to educate and say my message here is video isn't just a marketing tool, people. This isn't just a tool for to market and make people aware of you. This is a tool to help assistant sales, to help you build company culture, to help you make your systems more efficient. Video could be the damn product. You could sell videos, right? You can go from a local business to a global. Like, let's not play around. Let's do our research. Let's listen to people like Daniel, and let's just educate ourselves a bit, because when we're educated, the educated mind makes good decisions. So I'm not trying to force anything. I just want to educate you, because I really believe that from that place, you're going to make some really amazing decisions.
Oh, yes, and amen to all of that. Well, I mean, for me, in all of this and I really like your description of it's a door to reality. It's like it's reality, and for me, it's reality exponentially because it's breaking the time and the space barrier as well, but it's giving people a real experience of who we are and what we're about, and our hearts and our minds and our cultures and our psychology, and all of this just flows out. And it's video is this window, this door that lets people into our lives, into our businesses, into who we are, in a way that no other medium can do it outside of walking in the door of our business.
Absolutely.
Right.
And if you have a good video creator, you could do it two ways. You could just video yourself, right? And that really resembles reality. Or you can take advantage of the alter reality, which is what I call the unbound, like the internet will say, right?
Okay.
And when you're on the internet, you can be in all places at once, right? So that reality is different. But with video, you can skip time. You could skip space. Like, not only can it be everywhere at once, but within the video, I can show you a video 10 seconds and I can be in Hawaii, India, Australia, and Europe all in that 10 seconds through something called editing. I can have music. I can so above the nature of what can be done with the video, the things that can be done within a video is special as well. And the danger with doing things like this is that you can quickly, if you're not working with the right video creator, you can quickly alter reality to a point where it doesn't seem trustable. So this is where you want to, it's always, you can never go wrong with just like filming yourself. But if you're going to work with someone who knows video, I really recommend someone like Daniel. And I'm not trying to just pitch you, but here's the truth of it. Like, if you're going to work with a video creator, you have to have strategy on lock. So you need to know why you're making the video. You need to prescribe a video for that reason, and you need to follow it through to production. But again, also, you need to make sure it's produced in a way that amplifies reality, doesn't deflate it, right? That makes the music match your vibe. Imagine being like a sweet, peaceful massage therapist / yogi and putting rock music behind it. Like, talk about a mismatch. So you need somebody also who understands the strategy, but knows the production that'll go hand in hand. And that's why I'm so geeked out over you, Daniel, and like what you're doing, and you actually live very close to me, is because you have those two things. And with those two things, the potential becomes absolutely unimaginable. Like, none of us can imagine it besides looking at targets and saying, yeah, I think I can hit that. But upon that, we've both had videos where it's like, we'll post it and then somebody shares it to their friend who gave it to their mom, who's now like giving us like a signed Jimi Hendrix guitar, and it's like, how is this happening? Like like crazy things happen in this world with video and the digital world. So you can have intention, but video is nuts. Like, it'll do things for you that you could have never imagined.
Well, and just to extend on that, the sense of authority that can be built with just a few videos, when you're speaking from the place of who you are and what you know, it establishes you in such a way that no other medium comes close to.
Not even close.
And that level of authority, I mean, I to me, it's just like, how could people not do this? Okay, now I'm just banging drums here. Um, just real quick, someone asked a question earlier, Nick, that we wanted to bring in, and that's it. What's the first book you would recommend for sales psychology? When we were talking a little earlier about psychology, what was something that maybe we might be able to suggest here?
Yeah, I've never read a book on sales psychology, so I don't know. Like for me, I actually have a book I could recommend, but for me, really what's important about learning something like selling is to understand sales principles and then have experience. Also, you could watch people sell, that can always help. But for me, I just understand the principles of sales. Like I was saying earlier, like acknowledging someone's problem, being able to describe it better than they can, being able to help people visualize and imagine a life with your product and without your product, create contrast, give them an opportunity, invite them in, acknowledge who they are, be polarizing. These are all principles, right? They're not tactics would be like saying exact wording or yada yada yada. There is a book though I read called Never Split the Difference, and it's a negotiation book written by a FBI negotiator, and he gives like lots of cool tricks mixed with principles. So that could be a cool thing, but nothing's better than experience. Like just going out and doing it. And here's the thing, Mark. Actually, I can't believe I didn't think about this till now. You're already a great salesman. You're selling people all the time. I bet you are. Like I bet you when you're in your home, and you want takeout and your wife or your friend wants this and you're like, no, we should do takeout. It'll be easier and faster and I really 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 feel like it. Like that's sales. You're always selling. You're selling yourself all the time. Oh, should I go to bed right now or should I do this? Oh, I could do. So like it's really about being able to throw those techniques into something that's maybe a little more nerve-wracking, like selling a product, trying to make money. But I guarantee you, especially young people, like people my age, I'm really young, like amazing salesmen, man. Like they're always trying to sell each other on the new trend or why they're like, just we're already all good salesmen. We just don't know how to do it against the backdrop of business so much.
So if it's not, if we're already good salesmen, then what's the difference really?
Well, because business is taboo, money is taboo. So it throws off our frequency. Like we can't think of, it's almost like an untraining of the mind, right? So it's not so much we need to be trained, we need to be untrained. So like in business, anytime you're looking at money, because we don't like to be sold, right? So like we project and we think, we get into these situations and the frequency changes. It's not just like trying to pick a movie anymore or trying to pick what we're eating, because we have all this built up false beliefs in our mind. So again, this is why experience is amazing, is because with the right principles in mind, like video, like selling is about serving, right? Like we may be able to go and we may get nervous, but after we'll be able to be like, oh, I wasn't abiding by this principle. I forgot this principle, right? So, I think a lot of us, it's just taboo. We don't feel good asking people for money. We feel like if we take, then we're gaining and they're not gaining as much as we're gaining, which is BS. You shouldn't be selling a product if that's the point. Mm-hmm. Good salesmen always feel like their customers get the better end of it and they get a fair price. It's has nothing to do with taking from somebody. So,
well, see, now that brings up an interesting discussion of mindset now, because in terms of mindset, really, if we were going to leave our audience today then with a singular message, and because to me mindset is everything in life, and I mean we could probably spend another 3 hours on mindset alone, but it's what would you say, or what would you encourage people in terms of how to establish and for lack of a better word, protect or maintain their mindset maintain the hold that a good, clean mindset has for their lives. What would you say into that?
Well, I feel that people's mindsets are, well, let's put it into the situation of this pandemic. Like,
Okay.
there's people that, again, that are going to coward, and not coward, but in a sense of, I'm going to use coward, because there's a lot of people that rely on business owners. There's people that are going to go fetal position right now, that are just going to wait for what's safe. And then there's going to be people who step up and try to help. And the first step to a good mindset is to make a damn decision. Like, it's okay to decide to be fetal position, but don't be in the middle. Don't try to jump from one to the other. You're going to confuse yourself. You're going to confuse people. You're going to have an identity crisis. Things are just going to go crazy. You need to decide what game you're going to play, who you're going to be. And I think that is like the first step to a good mindset, is making a decision about your identity. Like, who are you going to be? Now, it might be hard to stay in one or the other identity, and that's fine, but at least you know where you belong, because then it becomes a situation of values. Like, once you decide something, you need to have the values to support that decision. Like, when let me explain a value. One value would be that when I make a decision, I follow through with it. That's a value. That's a principle that we can hold.
Okay.
So if you're going to choose to go up and give hope and fight, then it doesn't, like, it's okay to feel challenged, but your value system should hold you intact, right? And you should say, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure it out. I'm not going to give up. And then from there, you just need to be able to identify the things that fuel you. And I'll tell you one thing I guarantee can fuel you is serving others, right? Making that video that gives people that advice. It will fuel you. It'll give you that, what do they call that? Like a stepping stone. Like, you'll know that you're on path. You'll feel the energy of forward momentum when other people write you a message saying, thank you, this helped me. These are hints that we are on the right track. And as a mindset question, we need to make a decision, have values that hold it into place, and then just, like, let's try to start serving people, because that's the energy that we're going to need to do the biggest and best things that we can do.
So really today, then, the message I would add to that is, as business owners, we are already in a place where we value serving people, right? This is what we do as business owners. We serve the people who need the solutions that we bring. So let's reconnect with that part of ourselves and find a way to I'm gonna challenge you. Let's all create a video in the next 2 days that speaks of hope. Speak to hope from where you're at, and it doesn't. I'm going to say it this way: it doesn't matter how we feel about it. Let's speak a message of hope, and let's extend that out from our area of expertise, our area of experience, from where we're at. We can still speak of hope, because there's still tomorrow. We have today, and there's still tomorrow, and we can still look forward into the next seasons that follow, because this will end, right? This pandemic will end, and really, and so, I mean, just to share this with you, Ben says he was happy to hop on this live, because again, I see this. Thank you, Nick, for really living what you're talking about, and that's serving the community that values you, and even the communities that don't know you. You're here, you're serving, and I appreciate that you would take the time, and I know you're very busy, so that you would spend this time with us and share what you've shared from your heart, your authentic self, who you are. I can't really even begin to thank you enough. So thank you so much for spending this time here with us.
No worries, man. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. So everybody, we appreciate that you would spend this time with us. If you get the replay, hashtag replay, put up any questions. Asaph David says, thank you. for a solid discussion. And guys, we appreciate you being here. Share this with people. Share this with your friends, and let them hear the good things that Nik had to share with us today. And really about speaking a message of hope. Let's speak a message of hope, and move everything forward. So everybody, I appreciate you joining us here today. Have a fantastic week, and we'll be looking for your messages. So God bless you.